Hi guys, my name is Biza and I welcome you to TopChat. Today we are going to talk about an already trashed topic, but this time from a different angle. It's gender equality. And with me, I have beautiful guests too.
On the show, we have Kwenke Zinia, best known by her stage name Poetic Rants. She's a writer, a poet, spoken word artist, and journalism major who believes in the power of using words to heal and bring comfort to humanity. Her love for people has led her to stages such as World Hall, Abwal, and many others. And Rafina Monjo is a student at the University of Buea and an elderly care assistant. She is passionate about giving back to her community, reason being why she started volunteerism with an NGO called Aging and Health Cameroon Association, where she has had the opportunity to work with the elderly, train nurses and elderly care online, and taking part in seminars and workshops where she poses as a speaker.
Alright guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Alright, so you've heard the topics about gender equality. I'll start with you. What do you think?
Why are we starting with me?
Yes, because
Please, let's go. Just give your opinion. Just give your opinion. Please.
What is the reason?
Feel free. There's no reason.
I just want to start with you.
Okay.
You look like you have a lot to say.
First off, I'd just like to say that personally, I feel like gender equality in the African context is a myth. It does not really exist per se. And I think that a lot of people misinterpret the concept of gender equality because of the words gender equality. And so people are always trying to compare the male and female gender in terms of biologically what they can do. People are always like, women cannot do this, men cannot do that, which is true, by the way. Men and women will never be equal biologically.
Really? How are you biologically?
Yes, they'll never be equal biologically. So when I hear gender equality, I wish that a lot more people will go through the concept of gender equity. Gender equity is the ideology behind gender equality. Gender equality is the goal. That gender equity is what we do to achieve that goal. So whenever people talk about gender equality, I hear unlearned people, by the way, talking about different things, talking about biology, talking about... The truth is that men and women will never be equal biologically. But we'll talk about gender equity. It's about creating equal opportunities as well as responsibilities for both genders.
Okay. She said a lot already. Any words from you? Let's hear what you think about gender equality.
Yeah, really, she said a lot. To me, gender equality is, first of all, when you have equality, what comes to your mind? However, find out why the concept of gender equality ever came to, for us to implement it, where it's even coming from. Is that really what we are? Can we really portray that? That is how I look at it. And I always feel like gender equality per se may never really be in context, the African context. Reason why, I believe first it's something from the West. And they have put already every mechanism in place to make this easy. For example, in the West, you find maybe in a house, there is everything available. You have a cleaner, you do an electronic cleaner, you have everything that is easy. And when you come to the African context, and then you talk about gender equality, like you want equal rights for opportunity job. A woman will have to go to work. She comes back, she'll be the one to wash the house, she'll be the one to clean the house, she'll be the one to take care of the child. And do you really think there's an equality there? I think there's no equality at any point there. There is still inequality. So I don't think there is really going to be an equality at any place. I don't really know.
So you guys, what you're trying to say is there is no hope for gender equality.
I think so.
Well, from my point of view, I think that gender equality, first of all, is tied a lot to female rights, to women's rights.
Exactly.
It's tied a lot to women's rights. And I want everybody to understand that we'll talk about the oppression of women, about women not being able to speak up, about women not being able to own properties, about women not being able to work and earn according to how they work. It's not an African thing. It's not an African thing. If you go back to the 15th century, the Europeans, women were nurturers. You stay at home, you take care of the family. That was it. So it is not an African thing. The reason why gender equality is so forced in the African society, feels forced in the African society right now, is because we as Africans, we are rejecting the idea of gender equality. Yes, we are. We are rejecting the idea. That is why women's rights is still a very big fight right now. That is why when we talk about marriages and relationships, we have people who come up and say, I want my wife to stay at home. I'm an African man. It's a thing. I am an African man. It's a thing.
But you all know that this is embedded in our culture. It's not something that started today.
That's what I'm saying. It's embedded in our culture, yes. It's patriarchy. All of these things are not from today. That's why I said, personally, I feel like gender equality is a myth. But it's not necessarily an African thing, because women have been suppressed all around the world. Women were not suppressed only in Africa. It's a big deal now in Africa because we are rejecting the idea of gender equality. And like I said in the beginning, I still feel like it's because we have not understood the concept of, okay, let me put it this way, we're in the 21st century, right? Okay. Things have changed. Men say they don't want to marry liabilities. You have to work. You have to bring in the cash. We are splitting the bills 50-50. Now, if we're splitting the bills 50-50 and we're both going to work, we're both doing 9 to 5, we're coming back at 5, there's no way on earth that I'll go enter the kitchen and cook and you are sitting in the parlor. No, please. No, let's be sincere. Hold on. Let's be sincere with each other. There's no way in heaven that I'm going to come back. I am exhausted. You are exhausted. And I'm expected to go and cook. And please forgive me, African meals are so difficult to cook to begin with. And I'm expected to go and cook for you that night when I'm exhausted. You understand?
Yeah.
So this is what I think. When we talk about gender equality, personally, I feel like it applies even in relationships. It's about balance. There should be a balance. Even if there's a slight tilt where I'm doing more than you, it should not be so obvious. You get? If I'm coming back home, if we're both coming back home at 5 after work, if I am slicing tomatoes to cook rice,
I should be slicing
baby,
onions.
you better be slicing onions, please. You get, and it's not just in relationships, it goes also in offices, you understand? If we're both putting in the hours, it's okay that you get a promotion ahead of me, maybe because I don't know, for whatever reason you get a promotion ahead of me, but there should not be a reason why, because I'm female, I'm not getting a promotion.
Do you think women are up to the task?
Women are.
Jobs that men do.
Women, not all jobs. That's why when we talk about gender equality, we're talking about gender equity and gender equality. We're talking about giving people the same opportunities and responsibilities. Say, okay, this opportunity is open to you. Are you willing to take it? Today we have men who are hairdressers, men who are salespersons for female clothing, and they're doing exceptionally well. That's an opportunity that they were given and they took it.
Most successful chefs in the world
are males, but somehow we always want to attribute the cooking aspect to women. I feel like
personally, I feel like women were wired, should I say, built to care in that manner.
Yes, it's true.
It's like you can say a boy can walk chantier, women cannot do it.
Women can.
I love to add something. We keep talking about gender equality, and I always like to say, I really don't think there will ever be something gender equality. Yes, we are giving equal opportunity to all. But then imagine, okay, I'm a pilot. You're my husband, you're a pilot. At some point, I get pregnant. When I get pregnant, I go on vacation or maternity leave. That is something that you will never have. So I think rather than us preaching about gender equality, we should be talking about gender empowerment. Because we've come across that stage, because we used to think that the women were the weaker vessel, and so they were the one experiencing all the negative things. But today we discover that everything is turning. We find even in homes where the men are the ones suffering, we find homes where the man is the one doing everything and the woman does nothing. So what are we going to see in such a situation? Are we going to talk about gender equality still?
True.
So what I think at this time, we shouldn't bother ourselves about gender equality, because I don't see a place, a woman will always work more than a man. Despite the fact that you're doing all that job, I will still come back, I will do certain things, I will still be the one to give birth to that child, something that you will never do, but everything you do, I do them. Can you cite one thing that you would do? I want to. Find men that are
I
astronauts.
can impregnate
Women
a
also
woman.
are astronauts, but
Can
I,
you
a woman.
I can impregnate a woman. Let's
We are all in the process.
Okay.
We are all in the
I
process.
understand
You're
her
giving
point.
something,
It's
and I am
like-
giving
I
something. You
agree.
understand? So
Yes.
there's really not a time that there's going to be that it's going to be equal. I don't see that, but rather I think at the time that we should be talking about empowerment. And when I go through the United Nations, the days of when it relates to gender equality, you find that there are so many days about the women. Is it the day the abuse, the fight against widows and everything? But now what is happening to the men? We've so much concentrated
are suffering.
on the ladies,
suffering.
and we think the equality goes just to the lady. It is on both sides, both gender, the man and the woman. There should be equality, and that is what we are not having. That is why when we tell about we are empowering more women, we'll find most men, they are thieves in the quarter, they are gamblers because they have nothing. They are not being empowered. We've derived our energy from one end. We've just focused it on one
That's
end.
because I feel like when, like she rightly said, this issue of gender equality has always been the issue.
It's
of
not today.
women,
It's a woman
It's
problem.
always like
The
a
thing
woman's
is,
problem.
okay,
Nobody
get
tries
this.
to
I
see-
understand her point, and obviously I agree with her. It's like I said, men and women will never be equal ever, biologically.
So okay, indirectly, you're saying that all our efforts for gender equality.
No,
will-
I'm saying that the ideology of gender equality is being misunderstood.
Exactly.
It's not because whenever you bring up gender equality, people always want to talk about women giving birth, men doing this, men doing that, women not being able to do this. The truth is, men and women will never be equal biologically. That is why when you have athletes, you have if you have an athlete who is a runner, there's a limited amount of miles. There's like, okay, if you have swimmers, there's a limited amount of like there's a distance that a female is allowed to swim to become a champion. It's not the same as that of a male, because we know that biologically men are wired differently from females. Females are wired to be nurturers. Men are wired to be providers. That is how it is. The problem is women are being oppressed. You get that is why gender equality is so attached to women's rights. It's there's no way to separate it. And of course, we are not trying to diminish the man. We're not trying to diminish the man, of course not. But as she said, we're in a society right now where men do not speak up. And it's not because women are speaking up that men feel like they cannot speak up. It's a masculinity thing. Masculinity has this. It's a little ugly cage. It's a man thing. They don't speak up because they feel, what's the word? Ashamed.
No, because they say men are
not supposed to cry.
I'm not really.
Men don't cry and this and
I'm
that.
not really
I
the
understand.
point that the men should speak up. I'm not ready for that fact. But what I'm simply saying is, we are at a stage where the purpose for which this concept gender equality came in place is no longer being like realistic, because things are changing. Things are really changing.
Let's look at it this way, right? When we're talking about gender equality, it hardly has to do anything about emotions.
Yes.
It hardly has to do with anything about emotions.
Yes.
So let's forget about men not speaking up and whatever is happening to men. The truth is, the reason why there are more programs to empower women is because originally women are not empowered. Women are trained from childhood. You cannot tell me that you grew up. How many out of 10?
I feel like
when you talk
women are
about-
too powerful
Hold on.
enough that you guys don't even know.
Exactly. When you talk of
I thought that's-
originally women are not, like I said, that was something that used to happen before. Because let's say, for example, let's go to the University of Boya.
Okay.
If you go, I think we have about, is it 9 schools, if I'm not mistaken. Go through each department or faculty. Most of the programs are dominated by women. Even if you go to, is it engineering?
All right.
Even if the population is being dominated by the men, you will still find women in it. And if you calculate the population of women going to school, you will find out that it dominates that of men.
I agree.
I
agree with you.
So we've
women go
on
to
the
school.
women,
It's because
and we've forgotten
I feel
the
like,
men.
We've not forgotten the men. It's
feel
because
neglected.
from my point of view, right? It's because
feel like
school education has been accepted as a human right. Everybody sends their daughters to school. The question you should be asking yourself is: after school, how many women do you find in offices?
How many men do you find in
A
offices?
lot, in powerful positions.
Yeah, we could also.
I know women who work their asses off, but they don't get promoted.
Right, but I don't think if they are not in those offices, it's because they did not get the opportunity.
No, I think so.
I don't think because they went and applied and they say no, you're a woman, because in most
They're not going to
applications-
tell you no,
in
you're
most-
a woman.
in
I've had
most-
situations where I've gone to work, I've dropped an application, and somebody looks at me and tells me, I was hoping you'd be a man.
In most applications I've seen,
Yeah,
they always say we encourage.
You understand?
Ladies
My uncles have looked at me and said, you're like the son our brother never had. It's a thing. Maybe it is never, you have not experienced it fully, but it's there. It's clearly there. She talked about pregnancy, right?
Yeah.
As a woman, when you're planning your life, especially a career woman, if you're planning to get promoted to this and this position at this certain time of your life, if you're given a life, like when you're planning your career life, there's a time span that you've given that you want to get promoted to here, you want to be here. If at any moment in time you get pregnant, you have to go maternity leave. The truth is, you like it or not, if it's not God or grace, I don't even know what to say. You will not get promoted if you leave, no matter how hard you've worked on it. If you're working on a project
I think
before
you
you
get promoted.
no, you wouldn't. Where?
Have
I can cite over 5 powerful women today who have told me how they had to plan their family they had to have children so late because they had to their career first, because the truth is when you have children it's so much more difficult to become a career woman,
that's what
especially when you don't have
have.
especially when you don't have a supportive husband. All of these things are embedded into patriarchy. That is why there is such a thing as gender equality. But my problem is gender equality is not the idea. Gender equality, it's gender equity. It's about pushing gender equity, right? It's about giving opportunities to male and females based on their opportunity, rewards, and responsibilities to male and female based on their intellectual capability. So it's not about, it has nothing to do emotionally. Because we'll talk about the corporate world, men are not left behind. That is the honest truth. Men are not left behind.
I feel like the issue, I understand you perfectly well. But sometimes when people hire, they always get this complaint like, I don't need a woman coming to tell me I'm feeling sick, because they always say women fall sick easily and men are more resistant at the workplace. I don't know how true that is.
It may be true.
It may be true.
It may be true,
but
because
that would be a contributing factor to why you feel like women.
Anyways, I think we are all students, and that could be a very good research for us to learn.
it is.
Like it could be a PhD thesis or
And most often, women will always come to give complaint. It's hardly about them. It's always about some family responsibility that they have to take care of. And it's because, first of all, I don't think women are special. Let me just throw that out there. I don't think women are special. I think women are women. Women do what women do. Because I feel like every time that we say women are special, we judge them harshly. For example, in a situation where women are considered the people who hold the home together, the this, the that. So in a situation where a male cheats and does this, he's judged it's a man, men do that. But if you say, well, how can you? Women are so wicked. You get. So I feel like women are judged too harshly because they are.
I feel like all of my friends, they're like, this guy is a devil. This guy is a devil.
But it's acceptable. This guy is a devil, but he'll get married someday.
Yeah.
How many women do you see that? It's like when a woman is being from birth, they start telling you these things. It's the honest truth. They start telling you it's like whenever you listen.
We've given a lot.
I'm a very rebellious person by nature.
We've given a lot for this weekend already. We have women day of the
Yeah,
we have
exactly.
So many.
You
What
get.
do you guys want from us?
That's what I'm saying. That personally, I don't feel like we should be celebrating women that much, because women are not special. Women are just women. Women do what women do.
That's what I'm trying to say. That at no point in time are we going to really talk about equality. That at no point in time. Yes, just like you said, what is equality? Giving equal opportunity, responsibility. As long as you're ready and able to take
Exactly.
part,
Able. That is it.
You should.
That is a key word. The opportunity
You should
is
be
there.
given that
You are
opportunity.
giving. Are you able
Yes.
to do
Are you
it?
able to take
That is
it?
a question.
So you should be given the opportunity. That is what equality is all about. It's not all about, okay, there is
Yes.
this thing, because you come here a woman, I should give it to you, and
No.
then the man, I shouldn't give it because
Exactly.
you're a woman. No.
Exactly.
You
Because-
should be
exactly.
ready and able. You meet the criteria at which they want, they want
What they
for it,
want, yes.
and then you're being given it without like disparity
Exactly.
or whatever thing being put.
Exactly. That's what I
because
keep
you're a
saying,
woman
that
or you're
women
a
are
man.
not special. If you're given a job, do it. If you cannot do, you get fired. At that point, it's your fault. You get,
Yeah.
but you were given the opportunity.
Yeah.
That is what gender equality is about. Give the opportunity, give the responsibility. The same way that we castigate men for rape. If a woman rapes or sexually assaults
yeah.
another, you're not lucky. What's this?
Now why is it that
Yeah,
why is it that
of
men
course.
don't report rape case?
It's that, like I said now,
Because, like,
it's
they're kind of,
masculinity.
yeah, masculinity.
It has to
and,
do
like,
with
they
yeah,
know
the
he's
shame.
from the forest,
You don't
and
want
you
the
should
stigma.
have,
Yeah,
like,
you're just afraid to go
so-
out there.
Yes,
and say,
it's the
like,
same way that you're
But
raising.
then I think I should encourage all men. If a woman, if you have a woman raping you, brother, please
Exactly,
come
it's
and
like,
speak out of yourself and save your life.
I feel like it's the same way that we raise children and we tell boys that boys don't cry. That is so stupid. Boys don't cry where?
But I've never experienced that, and I've never in our house where we have 4 boys. My dad has never told any of his sons that boys don't cry. Like, you have to cry.
Let me tell you how I grew up. I've been in the house. Me, as get kid, be in the house. There were times where, especially during summer holidays, these term holidays, I could spend 1 month in our house without going outside.
Yeah.
Yes, I would just wake up, do my chores, go to my room, read my books. My cousin was the one going to the market. You know why?
Why?
I assume, I don't really know the reason. I assume that I don't want to
There
assume.
is no.
No, I want
There's something about assumption.
No, I'm assuming based on other facts that I've gathered that I don't really feel comfortable discussing. I'm assuming that it's because my aunt because there was this day when I felt very tired and I decided to go for a walk.
Yeah.
I remember walking like just for air in the evening. I remember walking like round the neighborhood, and then on my way round I met my aunt, and she was like, "Where are you going to?" So I know I'm not going anywhere. I just felt like walking to like free my mind. She told me very specifically. I remember these prostitutes who walk around without no destination. I remember very clearly.
See,
You get that was the reason why I was not allowed to leave my house. There were times where I could not sit on my veranda. Like I've sat on my veranda at 6 p.m. and my aunt has told me that you don't sit on the veranda outside. You get, and I'm a very free person.
Okay,
I'm
now-
very
Wait,
rebellious by
just to
nature.
add with what she said, your auntie told you it is just prostitute who walk without destination. I don't think she was being wicked with you because you're a girl, or she was being biased, or it was kind of a stuff.
That's not the point of my story.
Okay.
Because you said that particular statement, you had to keep in mind. Because
I remembered it because someone said something similar to me later, and I remember thinking that if I was male, those statements would have never been said to me, and it's not a lie; it's the truth.
Okay, when boys move around for no reason.
Boys move around a lot for no reason. Apart from that, right? Boys move around for a lot for no reason.
They'll also say
they'll ask you. They'll ask you.
No, I believe that it depends on the reputation that you have first as a person in that neighborhood. If you're a well-loved person of that neighborhood and you're moving, and so everybody knows that you're a good child and you're moving around, there's no way someone is just going to tell you that you are a thief.
There is always
why-
a way.
okay,
Even
why-
your
okay,
your
now.
mother will ask you,
Alright.
I say, you know, fish up in a house.
That's not the reason why I would say that it's not accurate is because I grew up around boys.
Alright.
And they did that all the time, and no one ever told them that you're a thief or you're this or you're that. It was always about the girls.
It could still be that they told them, but you were never aware or you were never around when
They
were
would have
telling
said
them.
something.
It's possible they kept quiet, just like it is your nature to keep quiet and not speak
No,
out.
it is their nature not to speak about things they feel ashamed of. That is something that would infuriate them.
What makes you think that?
I'm not thinking. I'm saying it based on what I've experienced as someone who grew up around other boys.
Okay, this is getting interesting. Okay, now something I want to find out something before we push on and try to know why things are going the way they are going. What's the genesis of this problem? Well, for me, I feel like sometimes we have been targeting the tree from the branches. The root is left untouched. where is the genesis of this problem? It's, if you look at it, you guys try to compare the two cultures, but for me, I feel like all the cultures in the world, I've not seen any culture that the woman can really say they are close to equal as men. So what's the genesis of this? If you're a Christian out there, I'm sure you've read in the Bible, and God created two people, and they were equal. According to the Bible, they were equal. So they ate the fruits, the first shot of the glory. And one of the punishments that were side out was that the woman was supposed to be under the man.
No, that was not a punishment.
That was one of the punishments. Another was like we have to till the soil to have food.
No.
So,
No, that was not punishment. No.
Okay, so
it was not intended. It was not a punishment.
Okay, if it was not a punishment, what was
They
it?
said the woman
It was
was
not
going
a
to give
punishment.
birth and doing childbirth.
She would suffer.
To feel so much pain.
Yes, that was the
And
woman's
the man was
punishment.
supposed to till the soil
and
in
suffer
order to
before
provide for
having-
the
yes.
family. If I'm not mistaken.
You're
So
not.
if you want me to skip
And-
the scripture.
No, you're
No.
mistaken.
want
The
me to
woman
skip
being
the-
under the man was never a punishment.
Yeah, it was never
Okay,
a
so it was
punishment.
sided out.
And I just think, I know if you want to talk about the Bible now, my lecturer will be like, is it proven when you're there? But then I just think that the Bible already did the inequality thing from the start. I mean, I hope the camera is not getting my voice.
Okay, so that brings me now to this question. It's inequality a divine purpose, or is it just
Let me say
human?
this right.
Yeah.
Let me just say outright, you're misquoting the Bible. Please. Okay, this is how it is. It's the same way. Okay, gender equality cannot apply in relationships. Not necessarily from my point of view, you cannot apply gender equality in relationships. Now, when God said the woman is the man's helper and the man is the head of the family, God gave a very specific assignment to the man. You will love this woman. To the woman, you will respect the man. To the man, you will love this woman. You do not disrespect. You do not insult. You do not look down on people that you love. You understand?
Yeah.
So it's like church. Me being your subordinate does not in any way mean that you are better than me.
That's true.
You get my point? Now, we want to apply. Listen, in the past times, it was so easy to be a woman. It was so easy to live in inequality. Why? Women were not expected to work. And that was fine and good because we were provided for
Exactly.
fully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
You understand? Yes.
Seriously?
Your job. Hold
okay,
on.
Let me just.
Your
You
job.
come back to your story. You come back to your story. Let me just highlight something before you get out of my mind. Do you know that our mothers, our great grandmothers, had to work extra hard to provide for the kids?
Hold on.
Because
I'm getting
our
there.
parents just had to give. Our parents' primary responsibility was to give birth to as many children as
Yeah,
I'm
even
getting
when they
there.
give birth to many children, they always assign lands to like,
I'm-
okay, this
I'm
land will be
getting
for
there,
this
yeah.
woman, this
So-
land will be for this woman, and they'll provide them what is needed to farm, and then
Like
when
I'm-
they
like I'm
cultivate,
saying,
they use it for their children.
yeah, like I'm
because
saying, right?
the polygamous home was so common.
Yes, like I'm saying, right, in those days, it was never an issue because you were fully provided for. You do not have to worry about what you would eat and stuff like that. So there was land. Sure, sometimes you had to go to the land and till, but it was not the woman's job to till the land.
She'll go for planting.
Her job was to nurture the family. That's why it was never a problem. That's why when I hear people complain today about how women no longer want to be housewives, women no longer want to subordinate, women no longer want to, what's the word? Submit. I hate that word. Because, right, things have changed. You want a woman who brings money to the table.
At the
And
same
you,
time,
and
you
the
want
same
her to
time,
take
you
care
want,
of the home.
wait, you want a housewife who brings money to the table. How now?
I always tell myself that if it was possible for us, like the woman to sit at home, take care of the child, and at the end of the month you pay me money, that's okay.
Why wouldn't
because
I take
work
it?
almost the same thing. I put in almost same energy. So if you can pay me salary by month end,
You understand? And wait, let me say this. Let me say this right. The reason why women will even come up and say, pay me for this or pay me for that is because, first of all, men or society in general, like we underlook the importance of being a stay-at-home parent.
Exactly.
We
Seriously,
underlook it so
takes a lot
much.
for you to be a stay-at-home
It is a
mother.
lot.
What's
It
there?
takes a lot.
What's there?
What's
I
there?
remember giving you having 2 kids and you were taking
It's
your
just to
wife
have-
is crying. The
What
other
is there?
one is like.
What's really difficult in making jollof rice?
It's not about making jollof rice. You know
I'm
the
telling you,
wait.
please
Hold
don't
on.
go
Do
here.
you know the reason
What's
why?
really
Do you know the
difficult?
reason why? If a how can I say this? You know the reason why a widow can stay for years and raise her children, but a widower always needs female help.
Because people were wired for help.
So why would you underlook that?
We are not underlooking you. It's just like
You are. You
like
are.
I said from the
You
beginning,
do.
we are overrating you people these
You
days, and you
do.
guys are
Well,
feeling
no,
like.
that's not what I said. I
in
don't say
another
we're
sense,
under.
that was
I don't
not
say
really
we are
matter over
overrated. I
household
said
issues.
women are not special. Women do what women do.
Okay.
We are wired to do this. You are wired to do
Like-
that. Do what you do. Let us do what we do, but let there be a balance. You don't.
Exactly.
See now, I have never, and I will never underlook the difficulties that men face. The problem I have is when a man comes to me and the man is like,
On the look,
I have this problem. You get
like I say that
like,
I take up your home.
don't
you
come
back
to
home,
me-
you eat your children.
don't
are
come to
all
me- don't come to
comfortable
me
you're
and
you
say-
look what I'm doing.
don't come to me
because
and-
I don't want to work
You
like you.
get-
I don't go to the office in the morning and then I come back to do the same thing.
You get so
I'm expected
what
to
I'm
do.
saying is don't come to me and say that I have this problem and my problem is more than yours. That is a problem to me because you do not understand what I am going through.
I want to
Tell me that you have a problem. Yes, you have a problem. Yes, men face difficulties. Yes,
Exactly.
men have. It is not easy to provide for a family. Yes,
Not easy.
but it does not in any way mean that your problems are more than mine.
Okay.
I want to wait
Let me-
before
okay,
we
now let me
please
talk about
before we
something.
go further. I want to say this issue of gender equality. I already said it, but I want to highlight on it. It is in the West, like I said. In the West, we have daycare. You know that if your child is done maybe from the kindergarten, he or she, they can assign people in the daycare. They'll come and take the child. They'll go with the child in the daycare facility. They'll be there. If you're leaving your work maybe at 8 p.m., okay, you know that you can come home. You take care of your child. Maybe you read her a bedtime story if you have enough time. If not, even she can go to bed because they've done all that at the daycare. And there are maybe food stores where you can get food available, whatever, are 24/7. But you see, this is our Africa we are in, and let's say maybe Cameroon we are in particular. You see an average home, the lady has to go to work. She has to hurry to pick the children from school. She needs to bring them back home. If she has no auntie or no uncle or no mother, if the mother is not around to take care of the children, and we live in a society where girls even today they give birth out of home
Wedlock.
in their house, and their mother, instead of them going for omogo to take care of their children's grandchildren that are married, they have to take care of the ones that are in the house. So if you don't have the money to get a house help, the burden is on you, and there is no way we are going to say we are doing things equally. So it's either we should decide. It's either the woman should stay at home and do full household like thing,
Or we
you
share
give her the
everything.
permission to go to work. She work,
And we share the house
everything.
chores.
While I'm taking care of baby A, you're taking care of baby B.
Okay.
While we am
You
cooking,
get
you're
okay.
there
Let me tell you a
arranging
story,
and
right? Let me tell you a
just like
story.
that.
Okay, so I work. I'm a writer. I write for magazines. I write articles for website content. Basically anything writing I do. So there was this time where I had a full-time writing job, but I did it remotely, where I had to write at least 15 articles a week. That's like 5,000 words a day. So I have school, and the way my department works is that I cannot miss a class. Once I miss a class, I am lost. I don't have attendance. I start losing marks. So this is me. I probably have gone to school by 7. I'm back home by 6 p.m. I do a little bit of things in my house, and then I sleep. Say 9. I'm up by 3 to work. I'm working from 3 to 5 a.m. 5 a.m. I get ready to go to school. I have class probably by 9, and then I decide to stop by a cafeteria to get something to eat before going to school because I might not have time to eat later on. And I walk into a cafeteria, and then people look at me and they're like, they start grumbling, and there's like They're murmuring everywhere. So
this girl can
I'm
be
calm. And then someone turns and someone is talking to the friend. It's like, get picking do it if it's for money time. I remember feeling I was angry. Like, it vexed me.
Okay.
I like, and I'm not because I don't, I don't get angry in silence. No.
I had to speak out.
No, I asked her. It was a guy, and I asked him, and I was like, so these other people who are here, they have 7 heads, or how? And he was like, they have work, and I was like, so you think that I am so idle? I do not have anything to do. I am just here. And I was like, even if I do not want to cook, how is it any of your business? If a man walks into a restaurant to eat, it is okay. He does not have time. He does not know how to cook. But the minute a woman walks into a restaurant, she's not wife material. Why? I get busy.
I think it's a changing society.
And another thing is, I remember buying a blender. I can like easy life, please.
It's not easy life. You're just saving time.
I'm saving time and I'm being productive. You get. So I bought a blender and I was trying to blend tomatoes to cook. And I remember someone telling me that these things are nice when you grind them or you grate them or you slice them by hand. And I was like, I don't have that time. Because honestly, I do not.
How many people have tomato today?
I love my tomato grinder.
Because I do not.
How many people get tomato today? Like you have to do stew.
You get.
You have this common saying around us.
The honest truth is, if I am put in a position where I have to be more productive and I feel like doing laundry is wasting my time, I'll take the dresses to the pressing.
Exactly.
I don't know. You people really.
The thing is,
God.
Sometimes now we are misunderstanding these things. We just want the work done. We don't care how it's done.
That is my problem. That is my problem with men.
And that's
Please.
We don't
Okay,
care
let us take. The African society is refusing some Western ideologies, but willingly accepting some. And if you really look at it, the ideologies that the African society is accepting are ideologies that favor men. Or explain. This thing of women working and bringing in money to their family, it's a Western ideology, please. It's not from Africa. No, hold on. Men have accepted it to the point where you meet a man today and he'll tell you, I don't want to marry a liability. Get picking her for work. Why would you accept that I'm supposed to bring you money home? I'm supposed to pay half of the bills, but you cannot do half of the chores. When I'm sweeping, you cannot wash plates. That's a taboo.
We are getting there. Okay, let's not dispute the fact that some boys are changing.
No, like there is change. Like I always say, there is really great change. We have experienced so much change. Yes, in every aspect, and that is why I will keep insisting that maybe we should shift from that concept of gender equality and then move to another concept. Maybe of gender empowerment, empowering both gender. That is what we need. We need to empower both gender. Yeah. They need to be like equality at that level. They should have equal opportunities too. They should have access to everything. Nothing should not be okay. This one is just for a woman. This one is just for a man. No, the opportunities should be equal at every level. If you are talking about women, you should talk about men. If you're talking about men, you should talk about women. That is it. We shouldn't just stay at the level of talking about women over and over again. Gone are those days, and we are seeing it. Today you see a man taking care of where I live, my former city. I had this man where the wife was the one going to the market. She sells tomatoes in the market. She goes and sells her tomato, and the man is in the house. He takes care of everything. That's in Modiko, and we'll be saying yes, that's in Modiko. He takes care of the house. He keeps the house very neat. Sometimes he cooks. He prepares. He had 2 children. The boy child was maybe around 5 years old, and then they just gave birth to the girl child. He was the one doing everything, literally everything.
And at the end of the day, right? It's about when we talk about gender equality, I want to talk about relationships, right? It's about being with people who respect you.
Exactly.
It's not necessarily erotic relationships. If you are, in short, just no nice people, please.
I don't remember a day my mom traveled and I stayed in the house. I didn't cook. I didn't eat because the woman is supposed to cook, and then nice. The man. My father.
By the way, my father cooks better than my mom.
I don't cook better than some.
My father cooks better than my mom.
All right.
I'm very sure he cooks better than me too.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show, guys. So, any final words? I'll start with you this time. Let me start with you. Any final words?
About gender
topic.
equality. Okay, I'll just have to summarize from everything we've said. That is, we should make up our mind, we should make a choice. If you want your woman to work, there is no problem. Let her, you share the house chores and share everything she has to do in the house. And if a woman is a stay-at-home mother, there is still no issue because she gives in more. The same energy you put at work, she puts in that same energy to take care of the home, your home with you and her. So wherever you find yourself, the most important thing is you need to understand, make a decision. What you want your wife to do, what you want your husband to do, and then from there, there's going to be a balance. But to say they should be equal at every level, I doubt they can ever be one.
Thank you. Any final words?
Okay, so I'll just repeat my statements, right? I'll say this again. Gender equality, personally, I feel, especially when it comes to relationships, it's about balance, right? I am better suited to do this, so I'll go this way. You are better suited to do that, so you will do that. So we have a balance. Like, a relationship is hardly ever 50-50. It's personally, I feel like it's always 100-100 because I'm giving in everything I know how to, and you are giving everything you know how to. So it just so happens that in our society, 80% of men are more financially stable than their women. So money is what they have. I'm not underlooking finance. Finance is very important. Money is what they have, so that is what they bring. But women have emotional intelligence. Women know how to take care of the home. Women know how to put in place. That is what she has. That's what she is bringing. It is not nothing. And if your partner is going to work, the best way is to find a balance. Like I said, it's always about the balance. Gender equality is about giving. Okay, the opportunities have been given. Take it. Can you do it? That's the question. So it should not be a question of whether or not you got the opportunity. It should be a question of whether or not you are able to carry this responsibility. So opportunities, responsibilities, and consequences should be dished out equally. If something is wrong, let it be wrong. It should not be wrong when it's a man and then acceptable when it's a woman. It should not be wrong when it's a woman and then acceptable when it's a man. That is just the entire idea of it. There should be a balance. If let us clearly define things. If stealing is wrong, let it be wrong. If cheating is wrong, let it be wrong. Like, it is wrong, it is wrong. There is no gray line. It's black and white. If it's wrong, it is wrong. That is just it.
Okay. I guess you guys have said it all. But for me personally, I feel like gender equality for me is just basically understanding your weaknesses as a man and as a woman and trying to work together to make sure that you can help each other out.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
just, I feel like we can never really solve that kind of a problem like that on this. We just give out our opinion and we throw it out there to the public. I hope that you guys watching should be able to help your society out in one way or the other. It has been a fantastic show with me and my guests here. Thank you guys so much for coming. Please, if you like this video, please give us a like, subscribe to this channel, and write us a comment on what you think about this topic. Have a blessed time.
Bye.